The 2024 NFL Combine has come and it has gone, and now is the time to get sticky with it when it comes to mock drafts. In today's video, I'm going to roll through a 2-round mock draft following the NFL Combine and try to fix the New York Giants. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We're only going to go through 2 rounds of the mock draft on today's video. I don't like doing mock drafts on 5th, 6th, and 7th round prospects until I have done enough homework on those guys. And I don't feel like I am in a good enough spot to be able to make those picks yet. So we're going to go 2 rounds. Giants, they have 3 picks in the first 2 rounds. Pick 6, pick 39, and pick 47. Joe Schoen has plenty of ammunition to go and fix this football team. I use the Pro Football Focus mock draft simulator. So if a player that I picked you don't think will be available at that spot, you can go tweet a Pro Football Focus. I don't want to hear you in the chat complaining. First pick, Caleb Williams, quarterback, USC, was selected by the Chicago Bears. And I think this is all but written in ink at this point. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a Bear, and he's going to be the first pick, and I think he's going to be damn good in this league. Number 2, your NFC East rival, the Washington Commanders, are on the clock, and they are going to take North Carolina quarterback Drake May. And whether it be May or whether it be Daniels, I do believe that the Washington Commanders are going to take a quarterback at that number 2 overall selection. Then a little bit of a shocker here. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the pick for the New England Patriots at that number 3 spot. So you have Caleb Williams go number 1, Drake May go number 2, and then Marvin Harrison go number 3. So then you got the Arizona Cardinals on the board. No, trade! We got to trade! Wee, wee, wee. Trade alert! I got a call from the head decision makers over in the Arizona Cardinals building, and they said, General Manager Marshy, we've got an offer for you. And they gave me this trade proposal. They said, we'll swap pick 4 and pick 6, and all you have to do is give us pick number 70. So I look to producer Colin. I'm like, are we making this move? And then I look at Seeps. I'm like, are we making this move? I don't know. You be the call. Would you make this trade if the Giants were on the clock, or excuse me, the Cardinals were on the clock, and Drake May went, and Malik Neighbors went, and Caleb Williams went, which means there's some guy on the board still available? Would you make this trade? A for accept, D for decline. I want to hear from you in the comment section. For me, this is accept. Easy, easy decision. I would make this decision in a heartbeat. And I thought to myself, well, I don't feel like this is enough for the New York Giants to have to give up. So I went and looked up the 2024 NFL trade value chart. This comes from drafttech.com. And the way this works is, you may have to pause this to kind of get a better look at the screen. You pretty much select the trade spot that you want to be at. You see where the Giants are at number 6. Each pick has an allotted point spot. And pretty much you have to combine picks to combine points to get to that spot. And this trade value chart actually says the Giants would be overpaying with pick number 70 to get from 6 to 4. I believe you'd probably have to add a little bit more, but an unbiased source in the Draft Tech, their trade value chart, says all it would take is a number 70 overall pick, and maybe even that is a little bit of an overpay. I think I speak for everybody here. Well, maybe not, because I know a lot of you guys still love Daniel Jones, and that is okay. The Giants need a franchise quarterback. They need someone that can take where this franchise is at and elevate them. They need a franchise quarterback, and they need a franchise elevator. And a guy that I think would be the pick, I'm trading up, and I'm going to draft Jayden Daniels. That's what I'm doing at pick number 4. That is my pick. Jayden Daniels, number 4 overall after I move up from pick 6 to pick 4. Jayden Daniels is the type of quarterback I want Brian Daboll to work with. When I think of all the quarterbacks in this draft, there's some really, really good ones. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a stud. I think Drake May is going to be a stud. But I do think that if a guy like Jayden Daniels does hit, and he goes to the right organization, he works with the right coaches, he can have just as high of a ceiling as anybody in this class. Some of my favorite things about Daniels is the growth from year to year. Look at what he did in 2022 down in Louisiana, and then 2023. Every single statistical category got better as volume increased as well. His completion percentage jumps from 68 to 72. His passing yards go up almost 1,000. His passing touchdowns almost triple. His yards per attempt go up. And his rushing yards and his rushing TDs. Outside TDs goes down, but his rushing yards goes up as well. With more volume, became more efficiency. And that is something that I absolutely love about Jayden Daniels. Some other stats that I think are very important. His adjusted completion percentage, which factors in drops and things like that by Pro Football Focus. He had the 7th highest number in college football last year of 79.6. His big-time throw rate, which qualifies anytime someone believes that, whoa, that was a big-time throw. It's an eye test by Pro Football Focus. They had him at 8.4%, 6th highest among quarterbacks in college football. He had the 4th most deep yards last year. And this is one of my favorite things about him. He doesn't turn the ball over. His turnover-worthy play rate is 1.6%. So he attacks downfield. He makes big-time throws. He completes a high percentage of his passes, and he doesn't put the ball in harm's way. And on top of that, he's the most explosive and electric player in this draft with the ball in his hands. Look at some rushing stats from 2023. 47 missed tackles as a quarterback. He had 41 runs of more than 10-plus yards. He had 8 runs of more than 15-plus yards. He had 565 yards after contact as a quarterback. He also rushed for 52 first downs. Some pros and cons for Jayden Daniels. It's not a perfect prospect, and that is why. And there's reasons why. You look at what Pro Football Focus, these are his pros and cons. He's a legitimate rushing threat. He has adequate arm talent for all 3 levels of the field. Has decent velocity for middle of the field throws, though distance is more impressive than velocity. He's fundamentally sound throws from his feet to his follow-through. He has excellent escapability to extend plays and beat blitzes. He forces defenders to keep his spy. Some cons. Just 1 season of high-level production. He needs to slide and avoid hits more often. He's a little bit risky when he tucks and runs it. His velocity is just adequate. His pocket presence is still a work in progress. Very high sack rate. Processing speed did improve in 2023, but he is still a tick slow, and his accuracy and ball placement can be inconsistent, but it stems from being a little late than a lack of talent. You kind of see where he likes to throw the football over the field. And in my opinion, he's one of the best quarterbacks in this class of throwing outside the numbers. You see that on this chart right here. He's got great efficiency when he targets outside the numbers. I also like that in that middle to intermediate range over the middle of the field at about 10-plus yards, he was really, really good. 23 of 35 on that spot, 471 yards, 6 TDs to 1 interception. He can hit every spot of the field. Maybe my biggest concern about Jayden Daniels is sometimes you watch and you're like, oh, we should have made that throw. But then he'll tuck and run it for 60 yards. So not always going to be able to depend on his legs. Has to grow as a passer. But man, oh man, he is an electric player that has an extremely high ceiling. Do you want Jayden Daniels on the Giants? I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you think. We got 2 more picks to make coming up around the corner, but I got to let you guys in on a little bit of a secret. When you go to chatsports.com/Giants hoodies, that's chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. You're going to find Giants hoodies on sale. Now's the time to get your hoodies. I'm a big hoodie guy, and you can save some money. Anytime you're wearing a hoodie and you save some money in the same day, it's going to be a win. A win is a win. So check them out, chatsports.com/Giants hoodies. So the New York Giants are back on the clock at pick number 39, and the player that I am selecting is A.D. Mitchell, the big play wide receiver out of the University of Texas. And I know there may be some people that says, Marshall, there's no way he'll be available at 39. Just like Brian Burns wasn't going to make it to the second round, or Will Levis wasn't going to make it to the second round. You could say that, but things happen in the NFL. And Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator, they had A.D. Mitchell on the board for me. What do I like about Mitchell? Pretty much everything about his game. Outside of being an absolute physical freak at 6'4", almost 200 pounds, he also ran a 4.3 40, and he was dominant down in Austin last year for the Longhorns. 55 receptions, 845 yards, big play threat down the sideline at 15.5 yards per catch. Had 11 touchdowns last year, but the thing I love the most about him is one drop. One drop. The guy has really strong hands. He can go up and snatch it. He can be really good in contested catches. He's just a really, really strong athletic player. He was with Georgia, a 2-time national champion, prior to transferring to the University of Texas. Pro Football Focus also has pros and cons for Adonai Mitchell, and they are as follows. He's fast, a fluid route runner for his size, fast footwork for quick releases off the line, effective shoulder dip when running by defenders, understands the nuance of how to get open, especially deep. Some cons. The shoulder dip to avoid contact in his route is good, but he needs to be more willing to chop defenders' hands away as well. His release speed is fast, but there are some false and wasted steps. He could do a better job of attacking the ball in air. His body language and effort can be very different when he's the primary receiver versus when he's not. That last one is kind of the one that stuck out to me, and I kind of got that vibe a little bit in the game against Washington. But the dude is an absolute freak. Look at what he did at the NFL Combine. 6'2", 205 pounds, and he ran a 4.35 40. That is incredible. Almost a 40-inch vertical. He was incredible on the broad jump. He's explosive. Look at his 10-yard, 20-yard, and 40-yard dash splits. Green means good, and he is at the top of the list in all of that. Another thing that I love about A.D. Mitchell is that a lot of people think he's just an outside receiver that goes up and gets fade balls, and no, that is not true. Go watch the tape. When you talk about route running, a lot of people like to think about foot fire and the ability to change direction. Route running is so much more than just being able to change direction and run all of these different right routes. It's about IQ. It's about patience. It's about feel. And the way I was taught was it as running routes is all about leverage. And A.D. Mitchell, he really, really understands that. Check out the Brett Coleman video on YouTube where he broke down A.D. Mitchell. It was really good. I call it the blind spot. He operates in the blind spot of the defensive back so often and so well. He is a professional route runner. And what does that mean? You're getting into a spot where the DB can't really see you when he's backtracking and covering you, and you have all the leverage in the world. In any cut, you're going to get wide open. Watch the video. Very, very good as a route runner at 6'2 plus, 200 pounds, and a 4.3 40 and almost a 40-inch vertical. He's a stud, guys. He really, really is. And the Giants, they have to add more offensive playmakers. They need more explosive chess pieces on this offense. Would I have liked to get an offensive lineman at that spot? Yeah, but I didn't like any of the guys that were on the board at that time. And I don't think the Giants need to reach for an offensive lineman. If the best player available is an O-lineman, take him. I also think the Giants are going to address the O-line, the offense, and free agency, and maybe they can look maybe in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. So, back on the clock for the New York Giants at pick 47 after you drafted Jayden Daniels and A.D. Mitchell. I went with the edge rusher out of Utah, Jonah Elliss. Not in love with this pick, to be quite frank with you. I thought he was the best edge rusher available when I went through my mock draft. And the production, I think, speaks for itself for what he did for Utah last year. 12 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Doesn't have the prototypical size of an edge rusher at 6'2", 250. But I like the effort and the juice and just the guts that this guy plays with, man. I feel like he's just a gamer. His motor never stops. I mean, the guy was really good last year. Maybe a little bit of a reach, but it is what it is. That's the way the board fell out. 39 pressures last year for Jonah. 16 tackles for loss. This guy lives in the backfield, and we know that the Giants need to add more talent to that pass rusher group. I love Kayvon Thibodeau. I love Azeez Ojulari when he's healthy and available, but you can never, ever, ever have enough edge rushers. And the Giants, they need to add more talent to that room. Would I have liked to draft an offensive lineman with this pick? Yeah, that would have been a match made in heaven. That's where I would have liked to have gone, but the players that were available at pick 47 were not worthy of being an offensive guard or an offensive tackle selection at pick 47. So I went with the guy that I thought was best available at a position of need, and that is Jonah Elliss to come off the edge and beef up that new defense for Shane Bowen. So my mock draft, I trade up from pick 6 to pick 4. I sacrifice pick 70, and I get Jayden Daniels, hopefully the next franchise quarterback for the New York Football Giants. I get him a weapon on the outside that I think has all-pro potential in A.D. Mitchell, and I get a worker with a very, very strong point of attack off the line of scrimmage, has some pass rush moves in his bag, and the energy and effort he plays with is infectious, and I think he'd be a fan favorite to any team he goes for. I want you, though, to be honest with me and get out the red pen. Get out the red pen. A, B, C, D, or F. That's how you say the alphabet. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade this mock draft for me. I want to hear from you guys down in the comment section. For me, I went with a B+. I don't love the pick of Jonah Elliss. I would have liked to get a offensive lineman at that pick. But the spot, the draft spot, and the overall grades of the players I had, it didn't really match up right there. But in my opinion, you get a top quarterback, you get a top wide receiver, and you get a really good edge rusher. 3 positions of need. And you may get a quarterback that could be the best of the bunch if he gets to work out right with Brian Dable. I'll give it a B+. Don't love it. Would like to get a I would like to get an offensive lineman with that second, third round pick. Make sure you are following me over on social media. If you want to yell at me about my mock draft, go do it over there at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, as well as at @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. So hit me up over there. And remember, let's go Big Blue.